Hello and welcome to Bookish Meet the Author, part of the In the Limelight network. I am your host, Nyssa, and joining me today is Trish Ahjel Roberts, self-actualization and diversity coach, to talk about her book, 12 Steps to Mind-Blowing Happiness, a journal of insights, quotes, questions to juice up your journey. Hi, Trish.
Hi, Nyssa. How are you? I'm happy to be here.
Good, and you? I'm so happy you're joining me today.
Thank you.
What is mind-blowing happiness and why is the idea important to you?
So mind-blowing happiness is a word that I coined for self-actualization. And self-actualization really means achieving your highest level of joy and fulfillment in your life, reaching your full potential, and really engaging your creativity. So it's something that I think everybody wants, but sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day, we just don't even think about it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I feel like that's also, the expression I use is sometimes we get in our own way, I think.
You know, when you said, why is it important? At the end of the day, happy people don't hurt people. You know, there's so much problems in this world. Besides the fact that happiness is like incredibly sexy, it's also just good for society, for people to be happy and in good spirits and doing their best work. So
yeah, I agree with that. So I've noticed you call yourself a slayer of self-doubt. By the way, I love that too. Why is it important? And what are some things we can do to get rid of self-doubt? Which I think everyone needs to learn.
So, you know, I work as a coach. And one of the things that I realized in working with clients is there's a lot of self-doubt, like even among people who are really high achievers, PhDs, master's degrees, executives, like people that you would not think would be having self-doubt. The data shows that they say 85% of people experience self-doubt. I really think it's more like 100%, but the reality is that self-doubt is the thing that gets between you and you achieving your goals, or even having the courage to dream the things that you might want to achieve. So getting rid of self-doubt is like incredibly important. And I can give your listeners like maybe like 3 tips, you know, that you can kind of activate.
Yeah, that'd be great. Tips are always good.
I love tips. So one is to replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. And one easy one that you can do is if you ever hear yourself saying, I can't, change it to I will or I won't. Take your power back, make it your decision, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that you can do is work on new skills. You know, sometimes we feel like we're not sure if we're the best at work or even in our personal lives.
Yeah.
There's so many books, there's so many podcasts, ways that you can empower yourself. Of course, mine included, right? for ways that you can feel more powerful and confident in knowing what you know. And another good thing that I do like a weekly journal now where I keep track of my progress. Because sometimes we could be doing, you know, getting promotions, doing amazing things. You know, some weeks it might just be like, I tackled Thanksgiving.
That's a big one.
But we do it and then we forget about it and we feel like we're not doing enough. So taking time to write down your progress and your accomplishments, the things you've learned, the things you're proud of, really can be motivating. And when you have those moments when you're feeling a little bit down, you can go back and see all the amazing things that you've done.
Yeah, I get how that would be. That's tough to remember. Like I write in a gratitude journal every day, and at the end of the month, they say, "And what have you accomplished this month?" And you have to go back and see it because it's like
your calendar.
I don't know. Did I accomplish anything? I don't feel like I've done much. Yeah, and I think I was gonna say that I like what you said too about changing how you speak. It's all in the language. It sounds like language is very important in how you perceive things. So it's good. It's a very important thing. It's a changing of the language, right?
Yeah, like you can have a whole argument that just takes place in your own head.
Yeah.
You know, just telling yourself negative things. And some of it comes from, you know, it could be media images where everybody looks cuter than you because they've all got filters, or, you know, maybe
Instagram is not real, as people try to remind us.
Exactly. You know, but whatever the messaging is that's coming into you, you don't want to repeat it yourself by telling yourself, you're not smart enough or good enough or fast enough, or, you know, so.
I remember someone once told me, usually if you hear the negative voice, it's coming from ego because ego is afraid of change.
There are a lot of I guess there's a lot of conversations around ego. And I think that is kind of complicated.
Yeah, but it was something I read. I learned,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it was interesting. On your website, you talk about slaying self-doubt, but also limited beliefs.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about limited beliefs and what we can do to get rid of them?
Yeah. So limiting beliefs, any belief that you have is something that you think is true, that you think is a fact.
Yeah.
So it could be how smart you are, it could be how attractive you are, it could be how accomplished you are, it could be what you think other people think about you. It could really be anything.
Yeah.
But limiting beliefs keep us from progressing towards our goal. And the interesting thing about them is that they're not true, but we think they are. So they're tricky. The two biggest tips that I could give to deal with limiting beliefs is one, to write down the things that you think about yourself that are negative. So when you write them down, then really go back and examine them. And I'll give you two just kind of universal examples you can use. Like if you think, well, I'm not that smart. There's so many people who are smarter than me. And you kind of write that down and look at it and you think, okay, well, average intelligence person would be a C student or would be average. So if I'm average, then that means that I'm kind of normal, like I'm with the majority of people. So chances are that you're just probably doing just as fine as anyone else. Yeah. And there really isn't much correlation between intelligence and success. Like you can have a really successful business or be financially successful. I mean, you can look at all these people making a ton of money on Instagram, which, they don't have to be PhDs. Yeah. So things like that, is one. Another one that I like to share is when we feel like we didn't come from money, or we don't have a lot of money, or we don't have a lot of resources. And my parents, my family's an immigrant family. I think your family, you were telling me, is an immigrant family. Yeah. So if we look at ourselves compared to people throughout the world, we know that the US is like one of the richest countries in the world. Yeah. Even if you don't have money here, you have access to incredible resources. Google, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I forget what they call their program, but it's incredible, like what you can access. And just the fact you don't even need a computer, you can walk into a library. Everybody has a local library where they can access things. So just things like that.
Yeah.
Limiting beliefs can be a little tricky. So if that doesn't work for you, that is one of the areas where I do recommend thinking about coaching, because a coach is someone who can kind of look at you and say, well, ask the question, are you sure that is true?
Yeah, because I think once you create that belief in your mind, it's hard for you to break away from it.
It's true with any belief, because that's why they're beliefs, because we think they're true. And those are usually the ones that are like the big aha moments, where you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So there are 12 steps to mind-blowing happiness in your book. Can you take us through a few steps?
Yes, I would love to. So the 12 steps are, the path to mind-blowing happiness, or what I call self-actualization. The first 5 are really foundational. The first one is healing, and I think that sometimes we may pick up self-help books and try to skip the first step, like if we haven't dealt with the things that hurt us and have worked through it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be therapy. It could be through a book or through an app or in a support group. There are lots of ways to work through the things that we may need to heal from. But that's the first step. And the second one is spirituality, getting a sense of your spiritual self. I'm a girl who was raised Catholic, as a lot of my friends and people that I know. But that sense of religion is different from spirituality.
Yeah.
And that was something that it took me a while to learn. And you don't have to prescribe to any religion in order to be spiritual, or you could be a part of a religion and really not connect with your spiritual self. So that spiritual connection is really the sense of your spiritual self that's separate from your physical self. So acknowledging that, and then taking time to nurture and to grow that spiritual self. So that's the second part, because I don't think, well, listen, you can't be mind-blowingly happy if you don't have a sense of your spiritual nature.
That's true. It's a big part of it. I like the fact that you said the foundation, because I feel like if you don't build a strong enough foundation, or you skip over and just put a band-aid on things, it's never going to fully heal until you find the root of what it is to help you get somewhere.
Absolutely.
Because what's going to stop you from falling back into bad habits if you don't have that thing that made you realize what's causing it in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to give you guys one more. And I just love, well, this to me just became so obvious with the pandemic, that connection is critical. You know, we live here in the US, in a country where it was very much, me, how much money can I make? How big can my house be? How big can my car be? How much power can I have? And there's this kind of push towards that. But the reality is you can have all the things, but if you don't have someone to talk to about how you feel, or someone who's there for you when you're sad, or someone who you call when something fantastic happens in your life to share it with, then you're not gonna, your car can't hug you. So there you go.
No, as far as I know, like cars, inanimate objects can't do that. No. But I also was, every time during the pandemic, I realized just how much being Latina makes a difference, in that, you're a culture that loves that is affectionate and loves to hug and needs to be around family. And then it's like, you can't be around people anymore.
Yeah.
It must have been even tougher for cultures that are very much into like being together and family, and always, it's like, oh, they just took that away.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it's funny, because somebody asked me recently if I grew up in a multi-generational house, which I did. I grew up, my family's from the Caribbean, but I grew up with my grandmother and my two parents. And I think they're kind of similar in that way to Latin cultures. But in my mind, if we were quarantined, we would have all been together anyway, because we always had so many people in the house. But yeah, connection is really important. And they all overlap, because it's important for the healing, it is. It's important in spiritual growth. So yeah.
Yep. So if one of my listeners is overwhelmed, doesn't know where to start, what do you recommend?
I really recommend my book that came prior to 12 Steps to Mind-Blowing Happiness. The two of them together are part of what I call the Mind-Blowing Happiness series. But the first one is my memoir. And I recommend that because I think it really helps. It teaches the same 12 steps, but it tells my story. And I think that when you're struggling, it's just more impactful when you realize that you're not alone.
I've had an action thing.
Yeah, well, you know what, it's true, because it makes you feel connected, even if you don't have someone physically with you. Because you can read my story, and then you'll say, oh gosh, she went through, a lot of stuff, and it's very relatable. So I think that would be a great place to start.
Good piece of advice. And it also helps. It's good that both your books go together, but there's also that personal connection from one.
Yeah. And you know what, you can also download the excerpt from Thinking Outside the Chrysalis, so that you can, I think maybe the first 30 pages or something like that is on my website, so people can check it out and see.
This is the perfect segue. I was about to say, where can people find you and your book?
Yes. So my website is trishahjelroberts.com. If you can't spell that, you can type in mindblowinghappiness.com, and it takes you to the same place. And you can find my books there. You can find excerpts there. I have some great freebies on there. So lots of good stuff.
And social media, anywhere else I can find you, like Instagram, Facebook?
Oh yeah. So all of my social media is Trish Ahjel Roberts. So it's Trish, Ahjel Roberts.
And your book is also available anywhere like Amazon and all those places as well. People can search for your book.
Right now, my books are only on Amazon and on my website.
Great. are you working on anything else? Is there anything else we can be excited to wait for?
I do have exciting things. So actually, I just launched the Mindblowing Happiness Circle, which is a membership. And right now I'm bringing on my founding members. So membership is 50% off. So it's like less than a cup of coffee. It's less than $5 a month.
Oh, wow.
And I know it's like incredible.
I love how
I just want everybody to join. I want everybody to join. I want it to be like 10,000 people on there with me.
That's great. And I love how everyone always connects it to a cup of coffee when they're telling you how helpful something can be for you, but without being inexpensive. It's less than a cup of coffee, something
I know, because I'm one of those people who drives through Starbucks, so it's like I totally it's money that you wouldn't miss. But yeah, we had our first kickoff, and I taught self-actualization and what that is, and I led a meditation and a visualization. So if your listeners want to sign up, the first 30 days are free. So not only is it less than $5, the first 30 days are free, and the first session is in there. They're 60-minute session. You can go in and get a nice meditation.
Great.
And let me just give you the code. So you could probably put it in your show notes as well, but it's Founder 50 to get the 50% off.
Great. I mean, who doesn't love to find not only be able to work on themselves and do a great program, but also be able to do it there's also a freebie in there. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah, it's in community. It's live with me. I think I'm just really excited about that.
As you should be. It sounds very exciting. And also, like I said, it also brings back that whole connection thing. You said it's a community. So it all comes full circle.
Full circle. And I have one more thing to share. So I also have on my website, it's called the Mindblowing Happiness 12-month Book Club Leaders Guide. So that's for people who want to lead their own book club, to go through the 12 steps over the 12 months. Probably 2022 is a good time to do it, but it could be any 12 months, but it's a guide to teach you how to lead your group. And then that way you can just grab, 3 friends, 5 friends, whatever, download the free guide and go through the book that way.
So that way it's an actual book club and not an excuse people just to meet up and to talk about life, as you see usually as a joke for movies, right? People friends say it's a book club, but it's not. It's just a chance to sit down with friends. But now you can actually learn how to do a proper one.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Trish. It was so nice talking to you.
Thank you.
It was lovely having you on the show. I wish you continued success on everything that you do with your group and everything. And thank you everyone for joining me on Bookish Meet the Authors. I hope to see you next time, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.